I made an audible swap here just because it felt more natural to do Catwoman
Yeah.
issue 25 next, because it obviously spins out directly from the Joker War stuff. So Ram V writing, Fernando Blanco, Jean-Paul Leon, and Jean Ferraya on the art, which is a hell of a list of artists, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how many goats Ram V decided to take out and sacrifice to some dark god to.
Yeah. Well,
Judging by his beard, many.
Right.
But
and
was that an Alan Moore joke?
And I feel like he is channeling some Alan Moore energy. He's definitely got that vibe.
You got the big Alan Moore beard, you're a wizard. That's just.
He's on his way to it.
Okay.
And the artist on Justice League Dark, I mean, he gets Paquette doing the covers, and the other guy, Nahul Penn, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyways,
so yeah, you've got these gorgeous sort of in her head sequences with her like facing off with a tiger. It's all sort of orange and glowing, and that stuff's gorgeous.
Those pages, they stand out, and they're just spectacular.
Yeah. But the regular art's actually really good. It's the heist that's set up in Joker War. It's Catwoman breaking into this bank. You got Riddler on the computers, and you've got Penguin kind of running interference outside to stop any clowns from getting to them.
And that's it. It was this issue with the Batman 88, because it tells us that's when Penguin got his throat slit.
Ah, there you go.
right.
So Catwoman's, and this is the thing, you're expecting, because obviously Catwoman's a good enough character at this point. We're expecting her not to actually give all the money to the villains. We're expecting her to give it back to Wayne because that's what's right.
Right.
So you're expecting for that turn to happen as you've got them bickering and stuff. I will say, Penguin with the rocket launcher did give me a chuckle. So just for the fun up until that point. But she makes the turn, she makes the twist, as it were. And they're like, what are you doing? Oh, you sly minx, you're betrayed us. And gorgeous 2-page layout of Catwoman breaking out of the place.
And I love the flow of this. You can just follow her around and then down and then back across. And you never feel confused about where your eyes should be followed.
Yeah,
they all lead you really naturally.
And the Penguin kind of predicted that she might double cross him and tries to corner Nally. It shoots her in the gut and is going to take her. And the only thing that really connects this to the previous run, and I think we actually did read enough to get introduced to this character, this detective, was it Hadley?
Uh-huh.
I don't think I did, but maybe you two did.
Matt's just yawning as loud as possible.
I'm sorry, I am tired.
I'm just acknowledging it because it's better to acknowledge it for everyone that we're.
No, I know.
Matt's an unprofessional bastard. What do you want?
Yeah. So Catwoman, he swoops in and saves her. She wakes up on his couch wherever he's staying in Gotham, and maybe he does keep popping up in the run, but it's kind of this thing where she thanks him and Batman's out of the scene.
Okay with this, even though I've not read anything with him, and it felt a bit abrupt for me, kind of just coming in with, oh, who's this guy? Something I've been a big supporter of is having supporting cast.
Oh, sure, for sure.
They carry across runs, not just one writer will use them and then they're forgotten, and the next one makes someone new.
Which is something that I'm actually excited for in one of the other stories in this, but we'll get to that in a second. So she goes and sees Luke Fox and sort of gives him all the money, and with some additional money, saying, "Hey, this is from the criminals of the Gotham, so you can distribute this amongst some people who need it."
Yeah, basically. And I would not be surprised if this leads into how he has money for his upcoming tenure as a Batman.
Maybe he's I will spend this on my Batsuit.
Yes,
kind of that
wouldn't surprise me. And it is here. It's see Batgirl 88 for where Luke goes after this.
Do you know what?
I was like, I don't know what is that 48. It could be any issue with Batgirl though.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just read that as Batman 88, even though it makes no sense. Or maybe I read it as 48 because I know it's ended at 50. Maybe that's what I assumed it was. But and Batgirl makes a bow in her dream because the stuff with her with the tigers it's sort of playing off. What did I say?
You said Batgirl.
I said Batgirl. That's because we're talking about Batgirl.
Yeah.
But it's sort of playing off whatever sort of struggle she's in, so it sort of represents it as a dance.
She tamed the beast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But for me, I thought that was enjoyable and a nice tie-in to what's going on in Joker War. For me, the second story, which is clearly setting up what Ram V is going to be doing in his run, I thought was very good and has me very excited. And I love the Jean-Paul Leon art. I've always liked the art from him.
His stuff's always gorgeous.
Yeah, it's basically her going back to, what's the alley called?
Alleytown.
Alleytown, that's it. Where she grew up. And was a bit of a punk. She was pickpocketing and stuff like that, and she runs into these 3 kids who try to steal everything from her in a series of little daring moves. And obviously the joke is that the two who try to pickpocket her realize that they have been pickpocketed afterwards, and the one who tries to hold her at gunpoint obviously is, his gun is taken away from him, he's left upside down, and when they go back to their hideout, it's this abandoned building. It used to be where she grew up, where like the boss who was in charge of all the punks back in her day, and she's bought the building, so this is setting up her new base of operations, and she's like, look, basically she's going to take them all in and kind of be their mentor, and she's the new boss in town. And presumably is going to, maybe give them a moral code and not just have them.
This is her team of Robins. She's having a cat family.
Essentially, because she kind of points out that the kid with the gun is like, look, the punks, what's the word she used? The grunts need guns because they don't have anything else. Goons, that was it.
Goons. Are you gooner or are you a grifter?
Grifter, yeah. And grifters are smarter. Grifters aren't just, thugs.
Right. And that's, Alleytown needs their basically their mother figure, like she had, that taught her. Yeah. So, but no, I like that, and it's especially coming off of a week where I got blocked by a guy on Twitter for correcting him what a hockey goon is. Seeing this pop up, I was just like, see, Catwoman gets it.
It's funny.
Goons don't have honor. That's it. That's the big, So yeah.
That's no, but that was a good setup for the new story direction. Because it feels like a true starting point. And when I was like, oh, you know what? I was kind of intrigued by I like the writing in the first story, but this was the story that made me go, no, I will read the next one now. I want to read more of this now.
Do you know what I'm going to compare this to in some ways? This is the first issue of Action Comics PAX run, which I also think was actually issue 25, if I recall, where the first issue was this tie-in to Zero Year, which is like, it was completely unrelated to what the main book was going to be, but it was like, oh, that was a damn good issue. I'm really interested, and I kind of feel that here, where I'm like, okay, this is actually just this one feels like it might actually be setting up what's going on, but the main story is this Joker War tie-in.
Yeah, but
I like the voice.
The beauty of this, though, is that we actually have two other stories in this, which are both setting up the run. So it's actually like we almost got 26 along with it to get the taste of what the run actually is going to be. So I like the idea of her having this supporting cast and her sort of like having this sort of ragtag group of misfits who she's going to presumably give a sense of honor to. And
I believe Blanco is staying on as the regular artist, which. It's actually really interesting to have this continuity artist between the runs, because obviously he did a lot of the stuff with Joel Jones's run. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
On there.
The final page of this one is this gorgeous page of Catwoman looking out the window with the doves flying in,
looking down on Alleytown.
Yeah. So as much as I like that one, though, the final story in this issue is...
I knew it. This is the... Like, if I'm a self-parody on certain things, I knew Pete was going to love this story.
Do you know what? As someone who hates cats,
yes,
I like this because it just goes to show cats are dicks.
The
whole inner monologue of this cat is, I'm a dick.
Yeah.
So it actually took me a couple of boxes of narration to realize that it was the cat who was narrating and not Selena. It wasn't immediately obvious to me, and then I realized, it's this cat who's actually casing, because Selena's moving in. She's got the kids helping her move into her new apartment in this building.
Yeah.
And this cat's like watching from the balcony, and he's basically talking about how, oh, this human's strange, and she's got a routine. I'll wait. She's blah blah. And it's kind of weird. Her costume, makes her like she's just that's absurd. And I love that the cat's actually kind of like being kind of pompous about everything and like looking down on her. It's like, no, I'm going to sneak in. And this is what I love about it, is that it treats the cat like the cat's actually performing a heist like Selena would. So the cat's trying to sneak into her house to go for the biggest treasure of all.
Literally has some dialogue from the cat on narration saying, having completed my reconnaissance, I will make my move tonight.
Yes. I love this. I love giving pets or animals like this voices like this, and I think that the way when the cat's going in, it's like, okay, I must not be distracted by the temptation, because there's like a hamper of like a ball of string. It's like, must not be tempted by these things.
1,000 traps and temptations await me, but I will not be deterred.
Right, but then when Selena does catch the cat, and it's into the jewelry because that's the shiny stuff, and it's got like the bangle around its neck, and like those rings and jewels just flying. Because obviously Catwoman has this lying around because she's Catwoman. and he comes down. It's like, okay, I must play coy. The first method of not being like trapped is cuteness. So puts his head down to get petted, and then claws, and then makes a run for it.
I love that when Catwoman comes in and it's it's been distracted by all the shiny things. It's like, fool! I allowed myself to be distracted.
I know. I love this. And then my favorite line here was actually where it basically paraphrased Rorschach from Watchmen. Like, she thinks I'm trapped in here with her. I love it so much. And then Selena puts out something for it to eat or drink, and she's like, this one's coy. Well played, woman.
Crafty.
Yeah, crafty, yeah. It just ends with these two close ups to the cat and Selena just staring at each other. And I'm like,
well played, woman. Well played.
Yeah. And I love the idea that my cats think like this every time I'm being nice to them. I was like, oh, okay, you won me over again. Okay, I'll be cute. This was phenomenal. Ram V has got me on board for issue 26. The man's a genius. What can I say?
Honestly, between me and Matt have been very much enjoying his work on Justice League Dark. But it was interesting to come into this and be like, okay, what can he do elsewhere? Because I don't think we'd read anything else by him.
It's a weird 3 stages thing, because you have the first story, which is a really solid tie-in to an ongoing thing that's really well written. So I was like, that was pretty good. And then you have a really good setup story for the run, which already convinced me to read the thing. And then it hit me with this. It hit me with the cat perspective.
Just something different. This is where I got some extra pages to play because it's issue 25. We'll have some fun.
Gold.
So I was just looking up Ram V, see what else he's worked on. And you go to his website, and it says he's an award-winning author, creator of comics and graphic novels such as Paradiso, These Savage Shores, Graffiti's Wall, and Rune of Thieves. His short stories and comics have appeared in several anthologies. Most recent work includes Batman Secret Files. Conspirator and troublemaker at White Nose Studio, Ram currently lives in London, is a dog person, doodles, augmentative melancholic. So, the fact that he goes out and says he's a dog person.
Cat as a dick. It's very telling,
because I want to.
What's so funny to me though
on some of the other stuff
is I feel like you're saying like, the cat's a dick and he's a dog person, so this all tracks, and I'm like, but this is why I love cats. That's for me. This is just reinforcement of why cats are the best.
Right. I'm just that he decided to put that in his, bio, basically first page, but. I want to see some of the
British Circle of Writers that I have a lot of following, like Gillen, for example.
Yeah,
I recommend his stuff a lot.
I did not know Ram 5 was in the UK.
That's how I still read it.
Every single time. But I'm becoming a fan, and Marvel's loss was DC's gain, because he was supposed to do a tie-in to some. It might have been Empire or whatever. He was doing he was meant to do a Thor tie-in mini, like a 4-issue thing, and then everything hit, and a bunch of the stuff got cancelled, including his Thor thing. And he said he was disappointed that it never saw the light of day, but it ended up him is what led to him taking a lot of extra DC work by the sounds of it.
Yeah. So and they've got a new guy.
Well, I wasn't reading Justice League Dark, obviously, so I hadn't discovered his skill yet, but I'm on board. Yeah.
It's always impressive when a writer can win you over in one issue.
It is, yes. And I think because he had 3 stories to do it, and it gave me a nice range of here's a nice range of what he can actually do. So it was here's his tie-in skills, here's his individual story skills and for his run, and then here's a weirder idea that he might pull out from time to time. And I'm like, okay, I've been sold on all 3 fronts.
Yeah, because the tie-in part is probably the weakest overall, but that's kind of normal for tie-ins. I expect every tie-in to be a rung below whatever they're doing in the regular book. Every time I just okay, you got to do a tie-in. It'll be probably fine if it's a good enough writer, but rarely is exciting. So the fact that you can handle that all right on the first issue is always a good sign.
Yeah. So very good. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Matt, about?
No. I was just looking. Apparently there's a book called Brigands that looks very up mine and Connor's alley.
He was tweeting just today or yesterday that he's got a new book approved. It's been pitched and it's approved for sometime next year. Hoping it's a DC book.
All right, Matt, what are you giving?
I'm gonna give this the collection story. I'm gonna give it an 8. It's all pretty solid. The art in particular really sets it above.
Yeah. Also, just to mention, Faria, of course, we used to love talking about on a regular basis with Green Arrow, and I feel like he's been gone from DC for a while.
He's been doing a lot of Marvel work over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was nice to see him back for at least for this one story. What are you giving it, Connor?
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I loved a lot of it. And the art, I felt like it got better with every story. I mean, to my tastes. And it was already at a high bar. But
yeah, I feel like for me, it peaked with Jean Paul Leon and then went down a little bit. But I mean, a little bit. Like, I still love Faria. So
I think Faria's stuff just was an extra notch. I think the colors really popped in his story. I think it was the same colorist that we had in Jean Paul Leon's stuff. I think, off the top of my head. It was, yeah, I'm just double checking that wasn't wrong. But obviously they're a lot flatter in that story. Whereas in this third story, they've got a gorgeous glow to them that I just really like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm probably going to give it... I'll agree with the 8.5. I think, honestly, as much as... Even though I thought the tie-in issue story was really good, I think if that wasn't here and it was just a regular-sized issue with the two last stories, I might have even given it the 9.
I probably would have done as well. I think those two are 9s, and the first story was like an 8.
Yeah.
So it kind of balances out.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Catwoman 25. Solid start to a new run.